My sister demanded I give her my late mother's wedding ring because I'm not even married yet. So this happened at my mom's wake 3 weeks ago, and I'm still processing the absolute audacity. I'm 28F. My sister, Rachel, is 35F, and we've always had a complicated relationship, but what went down has pretty much destroyed whatever was left of our family. For context, my mom passed away suddenly from a brain aneurysm at 64. She was healthy, vibrant, planning a cruise for next spring, and then just gone. We found her collapsed in her garden, still holding her pruning shears. The tomatoes she'd been tending are still growing in her backyard, and I can't bring myself to pick them. My mom and I were extremely close. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. I have Rachel and an older brother, Tom, who's 38. And while my siblings moved across the country for their careers, I stayed local. I saw my mom 3 times a week minimum. We had Sunday dinners. I helped her with her garden. She helped me when I was going through my divorce 2 years ago. Yes, divorce. I was married at 24 to my high school sweetheart, and it ended badly when I found out about his affair. But that's important for later. Rachel, on the other hand, visited maybe twice a year. She's a corporate lawyer in Seattle. We're in Ohio, married to another lawyer, has 2 kids, 10M and 7F. And honestly, she always made it clear that she'd evolved beyond our small town life. Her words, not mine. She'd video call Mom on holidays, send expensive gifts neither Mom nor I could ever use. A $400 Dutch oven when Mom had 3 perfectly good ones. A Peloton bike for someone who preferred walking outside. And generally treated her obligatory daughter duties like items on a checklist. Tom is better than Rachel but still distant. He's in Colorado, works in tech, single, dedicates himself to his career. He called Mom weekly and visited every few months, so he's more present than Rachel but still not really there, you know. The day before Mom died, we had lunch at this little Vietnamese place she loved. She seemed totally fine, laughing about how her neighbor's cat kept stalking the birds at her feeder. She mentioned she'd been updating her will and that she wanted to talk to all 3 of us kids together about some things, but said it could wait until Thanksgiving when everyone was in town. She never got that chance. After she died, it was chaos. I handled literally everything. I called Rachel and Tom, made arrangements with the funeral home, picked out the casket Mom wanted to be buried, not cremated. She told me this explicitly during a random conversation about a year ago. Wrote the obituary, coordinated with her church, cleaned out her fridge so nothing would rot, fed her cat, sorted through her closet for an outfit for the burial, contacted all her friends, organized the memorial service, picked flowers, sunflowers, her favorite. Selected photos for the slideshow, and somehow managed to not completely fall apart. Rachel flew in the day before the wake with her family. She stayed at a hotel instead of Mom's house where Tom and I were staying. Tom flew in the same day as Rachel. Her excuse was that the kids needed a pool to decompress from the trauma of losing their grandmother, whom they barely knew. I'm not bitter about that or anything. The wake was on a Friday evening. About 200 people came. Mom was beloved in our community. She volunteered at the library, helped run the community garden, was active in her church, and had lived in the same neighborhood for 40 years. Person after person came up to me telling me stories about how Mom had helped them, made them laugh, been there during their hard times. Each story felt like a gift and a knife at the same time. I wore Mom's wedding ring. Here's the thing about this ring. It's not extravagant. It's a simple gold band with a small cluster of diamonds, probably worth $3,000 for 000 in today's market. My dad proposed to my mom with this ring in 1983. He died when I was 6, car accident, so I barely remember him, but Mom wore this ring every single day for 41 years. She never dated anyone else. She said Dad was her person, and that was that. About 6 months ago, during one of our Sunday dinners, Mom took off her ring and placed it in my hand. She said, "I want you to have this when I'm gone. Not for the money, but because you understand what it means to love completely." She knew about my divorce, how betrayed I'd felt, how I'd struggled to trust again. She said she saw me starting to open my heart again. I'd been dating someone casually for a few months at that point, and she wanted me to remember that real love exists. I tried to give the ring back, told her she'd wear it for many more years, but she insisted I keep it somewhere safe. She made me promise not to tell my siblings because she'd handle it in her will. I put it in my jewelry box and honestly kind of forgot about it because Mom was healthy and I never imagined I'd lose her so soon. When she died, I remembered the ring. I looked at her will. I was named executor, which is important, and there was a specific provision. My wedding ring goes to my daughter, my name, who carries my heart. There were other jewelry items listed for Rachel and some items for Tom, but the wedding ring was explicitly mine. So I wore it to the wake. I needed to feel close to her. I needed something tangible of hers on my body. About halfway through the wake, Rachel pulled me aside into the funeral home's family room. Her face was red and her jaw was tight. "Why are you wearing Mom's ring?" she said, her voice shaking with anger. I was confused. Because she wanted me to have it. No, absolutely not. That ring should go to me. I'm the eldest daughter. I'm actually married. I have daughters who should inherit it someday. I just stared at her. "Rachel, Mom specifically left it to me in her will. I can show you." "I don't care what some paper says. You probably manipulated her into writing that. You were here all the time, whispering in her ear, making yourself seem like the perfect daughter while I was building an actual career and life." I felt like I'd been slapped. I was here because I loved her, because I wanted to spend time with her. You chose to leave. I chose success. I chose to make something of myself instead of staying in this dead-end town playing garden buddy with Mom. And now you're going to steal a family heirloom that should pass to the married daughter. "I was married," I said quietly. "And you messed that up, didn't you? You think Mom wanted her ring going to a divorcee who couldn't keep her husband satisfied." The words hit me like a freight train. I felt my hands shaking, tears burning behind my eyes. I wanted to scream. I wanted to say something equally cruel, but I couldn't find words. "That's disgusting, Rachel," I finally managed. "How dare you say that to me, here, now?" At our mother's wake, Rachel's husband, Derek, rushed in after hearing our raised voices. Tom came in right behind him. Rachel was now at full volume, saying that I'd manipulated Mom, that the ring was rightfully hers, that I was a thief. Tom tried to calm everyone down, but Rachel was on a rampage. She demanded to see the will, right there, at our mother's wake. I pulled out my phone, opened the PDF the lawyer had sent, and showed her the exact clause. She read it, her face getting redder and redder. "This is garbage. I'm contesting this. That ring is a family heirloom, and it should go to someone who's actually going to use it properly, not some sad divorcee living in Mom's shadow." "Rachel, stop," Tom said, but his voice was weak. He's always been conflict avoidant. "No, I will not stop. I flew across the country. I brought my children to this depressing event, and I'm not going to watch my little sister steal what's rightfully mine." Derek tried to guide Rachel out, but she yanked away from him. She turned back to me with this cruel smile. "You know what? Mom probably left you that ring out of pity. Poor little my name, couldn't keep a man, no real career, living in a town where everyone peaked in high school. She felt sorry for you. That's not love, that's charity." I couldn't speak. I felt like my chest was caving in. Tom finally found his voice. "Rachel, that's enough. You're completely out of line." "Oh, please, Tom. You're not even here enough to have an opinion. At least I made something of my life. At least my kids will have opportunities beyond working at the local Walmart. For context, I'm a pediatric nurse. I work at the Children's Hospital 2 towns over. I love my job. I'm good at it. The implication that I'm some kind of failure because I'm not a lawyer in a big city it was too much." "Get out," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "Excuse me." "Get out of this funeral home. Get out of this wake. You don't get to talk about Mom like she was some small-minded person who pitied me. You don't get to rewrite history to make yourself feel better about abandoning her." "I didn't abandon." "You saw her twice a year, Rachel, twice. And half those visits you spent on your laptop working. When she had her hip surgery last year, who was there? Me. When she had that cancer scare with the weird mammogram, me. When her cat got sick and she was terrified he'd die, me. Where were you?" Rachel's kids had wandered to the doorway by then, watching their mom and aunt scream at each other. Derek was trying to usher them away, his face pale with embarrassment. "Don't you dare." I was here. I was the one who held her hand. I was the one who listened to her stories about Dad. I was the one she called when she was lonely or scared or happy or bored. That ring represents a love you don't even understand because you've spent your whole life running from anything that doesn't advance your career. The funeral director came in then, politely but firmly suggesting we take this outside. We'd caused enough of a scene that the other mourners were staring, whispering, some looking scandalized. Rachel grabbed her purse, her hands trembling. "Fine, I'm getting a lawyer, you'll hear from them." She left. Derek and the kids followed. They didn't stay for the rest of the wake or the funeral the next day. They flew back to Seattle that night. The funeral was smaller, more intimate. Tom and I barely spoke. He was caught in the middle and clearly uncomfortable. Mom's friends and neighbors surrounded me with love, but I felt numb. After the funeral, we had to deal with the estate. Mom's house, her possessions, her savings, not much, but some. Rachel sent her lawyer, not to handle estate business, but specifically to contest the ring provision in the will. Here's what I found out. In Ohio, specific bequests in a will are generally pretty solid, especially for items of personal property like jewelry. Rachel's lawyer sent a bunch of threatening letters about undue influence and manipulation of an elderly woman. Mom was 64 and sharp as a tack, but our family lawyer said it was all bluster. Unless Rachel could prove I'd somehow coerced Mom, the ring was mine legally. But Rachel wasn't done. She started a whisper campaign in our family. Called our aunts, uncles, cousins, told them I'd stolen the ring, that I'd manipulated Mom in her final years, that I was trying to cut Rachel out of her inheritance. Not true. Rachel got an equal share of everything else, plus specific jewelry pieces Mom had designated for her. Our family split. About half believed Rachel's version, that I was a manipulative younger sister who'd taken advantage of proximity to steal a family heirloom. The other half saw through her nonsense and supported me. Holidays are going to be a nightmare now. Our family had always gathered at various relatives' houses for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Now people are taking sides. Some relatives have already said they won't attend any gathering if Rachel's there. Others have said the same about me. Tom is trying to stay neutral, which honestly feels like a betrayal. He keeps saying, "Both of you need to let this go," and "Mom wouldn't want this." But he won't stand up to Rachel or acknowledge that she's been completely out of line. 3 weeks later, I'm still wearing the ring. I wear it every day. It feels like armor and a memorial at the same time. But here's where it gets complicated, and why I'm posting this. Last week, I got a message from Rachel's daughter, my 10-year-old niece, Emma. She'd somehow gotten my number, probably from another relative, and sent me this voice message that broke my heart. "Aunt my name, I miss you. Mom says you're bad now, but I don't understand why. She keeps crying about Grandma's ring and saying you stole from our family. Did you steal? I don't think you're a thief. I remember when Grandma let me try on her ring when I was little and she told me it was special because Grandpa gave it to her. Mom says it should be mine someday when I get married because I'm the oldest granddaughter. But I don't want you and Mom to fight. Can you please call me?" I didn't know what to do with this message. I didn't call Emma back immediately because I didn't want to put her in the middle of an adult conflict, but I also felt terrible. She's a kid. She lost her grandmother, and now she's watching her mom and aunt destroy the family over a ring. I talked to my therapist about it. Yes, I'm in therapy. Mom's death and this whole situation have wrecked me. She asked me what the ring means to me. Is it about the object itself or what it represents? And here's what I realized. It's both. The ring is beautiful and has sentimental value, yes, but it also represents my mom's recognition of my capacity to love, her faith in me after my divorce, her understanding of who I am as a person. When she gave me that ring, she was telling me that my worth isn't tied to my marital status or my career success or where I live. She was telling me I'm enough. Rachel has spent her whole life trying to prove she's worthy through achievement. She's a partner at her law firm. She has the perfect husband, the perfect kids, the perfect house. but she's never felt like enough, and I think Mom saw that. I think that's why Mom didn't leave her the ring, not as a punishment, but because Rachel doesn't need it. Rachel has everything else. But that's not how Rachel sees it. To her, the ring is proof of favoritism. It's evidence that even though she did everything right, Mom still loved me more. And maybe that's true. Not that Mom loved me more, but that our relationship was deeper because of proximity and time spent together. You can't build intimacy through twice-yearly visits and expensive gifts. Love requires presence. I don't know if I'm wrong here. I keep the ring because Mom wanted me to have it, because it's legally mine, because it brings me comfort. But it's also destroying my family. Some of my friends say I should just give Rachel the ring to keep the peace. Others say I should stand my ground because Mom's wishes matter. My therapist won't tell me what to do, of course. Rachel has now started posting cryptic things on Facebook about family betrayal and narcissistic siblings who manipulate dying parents. She hasn't named me directly, but everyone knows. Her friends comment with support, telling her they're sorry she's dealing with such a difficult situation, that blood doesn't always mean loyalty. I haven't responded publicly. I won't engage in a social media war, but it hurts. Tom called me last night, begging me to just give her the ring. He says Rachel won't let this go, that she'll make everyone's lives miserable forever, that it's just a piece of jewelry and not worth destroying the family over. I asked him if he'd read Mom's will provision. He admitted he had. I asked him if he thought Mom's wishes mattered. He said yes, but also that Mom couldn't have predicted this would tear us apart. I disagree. I think Mom knew exactly what she was doing. I think she knew Rachel would react badly. And I think she left me that ring anyway because she wanted me to have it more than she wanted to avoid conflict. But now I'm lying awake at night wondering if I'm being selfish. Emma's voice message keeps playing in my head. I don't want you and Mom to fight. My mom has been dead for 3 weeks and 1 day. I should be grieving, processing, healing. Instead, I'm defending myself against accusations of theft and manipulation. I'm watching my family splinter. I'm hurting my niece and nephew who just lost their grandmother. Is a ring worth this? But also, it's not about the ring, is it? It's about respect for my mother's choices. It's about standing up to Rachel's bullying. It's about not letting her rewrite history to make herself the victim. I don't have an answer. I just know I'm exhausted. I miss my mom. I wish she were here to navigate this because she always knew what to do. She was wise and calm and fair. The ring sits on my finger right now as I type this. It catches the light, and I think about my dad proposing to my mom 42 years ago. I think about their love story cut short by his death. I think about Mom wearing this ring every single day, through joy and grief, through raising 3 kids alone, through all her years of choosing to honor a love that existed decades ago. And I think about whether I'm honoring her memory by keeping it, or dishonoring her by letting it destroy what's left of our family. I don't know what I'm looking for by posting this. Maybe just to get it out. Maybe to hear from people who have dealt with similar situations. Maybe to feel less alone in this mess. But here we are. My sister wants my dead mother's wedding ring. My family is broken. A 10-year-old girl is caught in the middle, and I'm still wearing the ring because taking it off feels like losing my mom all over again. What an absolute mess. Update, posted 2 days later. Wow, I did not expect this to blow up the way it did. Thank you to everyone who shared their experiences, insights, and support. Some of you were harsh, but honestly, I needed to hear different perspectives. I need to address a few things that kept coming up in comments. 1. Several people suggested I'm in the wrong for not considering Emma's future inheritance. Here's the thing. Mom left Rachel specific jewelry pieces that are more valuable than my dad's ring. Rachel got Mom's pearl necklace, worth about $8,000, her emerald earrings, worth about $6,000, and several other pieces. The total value of what Rachel inherited in jewelry actually exceeds what I got. This was never about money or fairness. It was about this specific ring. 2. A lot of people asked about the rest of the estate. Mom's house was left to all 3 of us kids equally. We're selling it and splitting the proceeds. Her savings, about 85K, is also split 3 ways. Rachel has not contested any of this, only the ring. 3. Some people said I should have never worn the ring to the wake. I understand that perspective, but in that moment, I needed my mom close to me. I needed to feel her presence. Would I do it differently knowing what would happen? Maybe. But grief doesn't follow logic. Now for the update. I called Emma back. I know some of you said not to, but I couldn't leave her hanging. I told her that I loved her, that the situation with her mom was complicated adult stuff, and that none of it was her fault. She asked directly if I stole the ring. I told her the truth, that Grandma gave it to me before she died and put it in her will that I should have it. Emma was quiet for a minute, then said, "Mom says Grandma wasn't thinking clearly because she was sad about you being divorced." That hurt. The idea that Rachel is telling her kids that their grandmother was mentally compromised is beyond low. I told Emma that Grandma was very clear-minded and made her own choices, and that sometimes adults disagree about things even when they love each other. We talked for a few more minutes about school and her soccer team, normal stuff. Before we hung up, she said, "I miss Grandma, and I miss you." I miss her too. After that call, I made a decision. I'm not giving Rachel the ring, but I am getting it appraised, and I'm writing something for Emma about its history and meaning, with photos of Grandma and Grandpa, their love story, everything. When Emma turns 18, if she still wants a connection to this piece of family history, I'll sit down with her and let her decide what role she wants it to play in her life. Maybe that makes me a villain in Rachel's story, but it's the best I can do. I also sent Rachel one final email. I told her I'm done engaging with her campaign against me. I said that Mom's will is clear, that I'm keeping the ring. And that if she wants a relationship with me in the future, she needs to accept that and apologize for what she said at the wake. I told her I forgive her for the horrible things she said because I know she's grieving too, but that forgiveness doesn't mean I'll tolerate continued abuse. I haven't heard back. I don't expect to. The family split is probably permanent. That's devastating, but I'm coming to terms with it. I'm still in therapy, still grieving, still wearing the ring. And you know what? I think Mom would understand. I think she'd tell me to stand my ground, to honor myself, to remember that love isn't about keeping the peace at any cost. It's about being true to what matters. The ring stays on my finger. Emma will get her story. Rachel will have to live with her choices. And I'll keep watering Mom's tomato plants until the first frost comes. Thank you all for listening. It helped more than you know.